The grill hissed, the scent of charcoal and sizzling meat thick in the summer air. Laughter circled the yard, half-hearted jokes bouncing off folding chairs and sun-warmed siding. I was slicing tomatoes, careful not to make too much noise. He said it. Blood matters. It always has. The words landed like stones in still water. Glasses paused mid-lift. Tensils hovered over plates. My daughter pressed closer, small hand clutching my arm, sensing the shift before I fully did. Remembered every time he had leaned too close. Whispered his convictions over family dinners that should have been easy. Unspoken preference, every subtle judgment, every look that made my skin tighten. That was what made this line land with such force. It wasn't new, only acknowledged aloud. My mother set down her glass. Just one sentence, soft but precise, through the heat and smoke and tension, something that made him slam his hand on the table in frustration. The sound echoed, punctuation mark on years of carefully managed control. No yelling, no argument, just a crack in the armor visible to all. I saw him retreat into the posture of anger, a performance I had memorized. I had lived beside it long enough to read the signs, the flicker in his eyes, the stiffening of shoulders, the way he tried to reclaim the space he thought was unquestioned. Thought of my daughter again, her small presence anchoring me in the moment. She didn't understand the layers yet, but she felt them, as everyone did. She needed protection, even if that protection was quiet and subtle. Memories flickered. Birthdays where some faces were ignored, conversations ended abruptly, the careful orchestration of praise and disapproval. Easily the unspoken could dominate. How easily silence could be weaponized. This wasn't about dinner. It never had been. Chose to remain still, slicing the tomato in even motions, letting the moment stretch. The air between them throbbed with tension. Authority had manifested, not in volume, but in clarity. My mother's single, deliberate sentence had shifted the balance, only slightly. He growled a low, frustrated sound, and the family instinctively recalibrated. Subtle shifts. My uncle adjusted his chair, my cousin looked away, my daughter tightened her grip on me. Power had been tested and found uncertain. Could feel the quiet undercurrent of influence, earned, restrained, undeniable. Time slowed, as it always does in moments like this. Remembered my own choices in similar scenarios, my own failures and hesitations. The temptation to speak, to confront, to assert was there, but I let it pass. The change had happened externally. My internal struggle could afford patience. Dinner continued, unevenly. Laughter resumed, though thinner, cautious. Forks scraped, glasses clinked. But the rhythm had shifted. The narrative had changed without dramatics, without spectacle. Some grudges remained, some bonds frayed. Some would never return to what they were. I watched my daughter eat, small, jaw tight with concentration. She was safe. That was enough. The rest, the long history, the simmering resentments, the lessons embedded in silence, would unfold in its own way. Guide where I could, observe where I must, and endure where I had no choice. Night drew in. The yard cooled. Lingered by the grill, embers smoldering, thinking of all the dinners, all the words left unsaid, all the authority quietly tested and claimed. The quiet victory was not mine to celebrate. It was a recalibration, subtle and earned, that would ripple forward in ways that only time would reveal. And in that silence, I finally exhaled.